You ever wake up in the middle of the night with that sinking feeling that something's watching you? That feeling that sends chills down your spine, even when you know there's nothing there. Or at least, you hope there isn't. Well, let me tell you, sometimes, what's out there is way worse than anything your imagination could cook up. This story isn't just a creepy bedtime tale. It's something that happened to me, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It all started when I was messing around with a telescope I'd bought from a garage sale. You know, just one of those things you pick up on a whim, hoping it'll turn you into an amateur astronomer overnight. I'd set it up on my balcony, pointing it at the night sky, hoping to catch a glimpse of something cool. Little did I know, I'd see something I'd wish I never had. I was scanning the sky, trying to focus on this distant star cluster, when I noticed something odd. A dark, moving object blocking out the stars as it floated by. It wasn't a plane, it wasn't a satellite, and it definitely wasn't a bird. I zoomed in closer, and that's when I saw it. This massive, almost organic-looking shape drifting in space, like some kind of spacecraft. But it didn't look like anything from this world. It was all jagged angles and glowing, pulsating veins, like it was alive. As I stared at this thing, a light flashed from its surface like a signal or a message. Suddenly, my telescope's lens fogged up, but not from condensation. This was different. It was like the air itself had changed, thickened. Then, my phone rang. No caller ID. I picked it up, and all I could hear was static, followed by a voice that wasn't human. It was garbled, like a digital whisper that seemed to echo in my head more than my ears. It said, "You have seen us. Now we see you." I dropped the phone, and the power in my entire building went out, complete blackout. The only light was from outside, where this dim green glow had started to fill the sky. And then I felt it. Something was in the room with me. I couldn't see it, but I felt its presence, this cold electric charge crawling over my skin. I reached for my flashlight, turned it on, or rather, there they were. These things were tall, like 7 feet, with limbs that seemed too long and thin for their bodies. Their skin wasn't really skin. It was more like a shifting mesh of dark matter, constantly writhing and rippling like a living shadow. Their eyes, if you could call them that, were just hollow glowing orbs that seemed to pull you in, like they could see straight through to your soul. And then, without moving their mouths, I heard them speak. Not with words, but directly into my mind. "You are the first of your kind to witness our mind. You are the first of your kind to witness our presence. You have been chosen for a purpose." The pain shot through my head, like my brain was on fire. They were downloading something into my mind, images, data. It felt like they were reprogramming me, changing me from the inside out. Just as quickly as they'd appeared, they vanished, leaving behind a cold breeze and that lingering smell of burning wires. When the power came back on, the clock on my wall showed that only a minute had passed, but it felt like hours. I checked my telescope. It was shattered, like it had been hit by a sledgehammer. Whatever those things were, they didn't want me looking for them again. Ever since that night, I've been different. I keep seeing flashes of symbols in my mind, hearing those voices in my head, and sometimes, when I close my eyes, I see that ship, still watching, waiting. And the worst part is, I think they're still out there somewhere, waiting for me to tell the world what I saw. Or maybe they're just waiting for the right moment to come back for me. And maybe for you too. So if you're ever outside at night, staring up at the sky, and you see something you can't explain, look away. Because once they know you've seen them, there's no going back.